Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football video. Today, we are doing a 10-team PPR draft from the one slot as requested by one of my subscribers, Jeff D. So, I hope you guys enjoy this video, but before I start it, I'd like to ask you guys, could please go down below and click that subscribe button. It really mean a lot to me. It's going to mean a lot to you because I'm going to help you guys dominate your fantasy football draft. Then, in the regular season, I'm going to help you dominate then, and then you're going to help you dominate the postseason. So, if you don't already have a fantasy football championship trophy, check down below in the description fantasybros.com. If you use code Notorious at checkout, you get 5% off. I would really like if you guys would check that out. And thank you guys all for the support. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers, and it just means a lot. So thank you guys. So, like I said, we're at the 101 of a 10-team PPR draft. So the first pick is very easy for me. We're going to go with Saquon Barkley. I think he's the best running back. Besides CMC available, him or CMC are clearly my 101 in my opinion. So after we with Saquon, Alvin Kamara came out the board, followed by Devontae Adams, Christian McCaffrey, David Johnson, D Hop, Zeke, Julio, James Conner, Lev Bell, Michael Thomas, Juju, Chubb, OBJ, Gurley, AB, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, and Tyreek Hill. So, big thing to notice here is that Zeke went at the 1-7. Now, a lot of reports are coming out. Oh, Zeke is coming back week one. There are other reports coming out. Zeke may hold out till week 6. Who the fuck knows? You just avoid drafting him at the current moment. So right now, this is a 10-team league. Like I said, no quarterback has came out the board yet. No Travis Kelsey yet either. But at this very point, I would just like to get two a running back and a wide receiver here that I really like having on my team. So first we'll go with the wide receiver, and it's a very easy choice here for me to just snag Mr. Mike Evans, wide receiver, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be playing a lot this year from behind, and that means they're going to be slinging the rock a lot while down. Famous Jameis can throw the ball to Mike Evans. Mike Evans got, I believe, 1,500 yards last year. I believe he can be around the 1,200 to 1,400 yard mark again this year, and potentially score 10 touchdowns. So I love Mike Evans' value at the end of this second round here. So now we are looking now back at a running back. Now, since this is a 10-team league, I do like to get a tight end early to get that positional advantage. But like I said, we went with Saquon and Mike Evans. Typically, I like to go two running backs early, but the value on Mike Evans was too good. So I'd much rather wait and hope that George Kittle falls to us at the 410 or Zach Ertz. Now, typically you're going to see where is he Kelsey go in the first two rounds, typically in the middle of the second round, but obviously that has not happened and we will not select him. So we're just going to go running back here, and we're going to go with a more of a risky choice here and go with Damian Williams. Now when you draft Damian Williams, you have to instantly go like this, type in Darwin Thompson, okay, and you favorite him, so you remember. How do I queue him? How do I add him to my queue? I've never once added someone to my queue here. Do you just drag him? Nope, who knows? I don't know how the fuck to do it. But what I do know is you put Darwin Thompson on your watch list to make sure that you handcuff Damian Williams in case Damian Williams goes down. Then you make sure that you have Darwin Thompson, or if Darwin Thompson somehow steals his job, you make sure you have him. So the running back one on a Chiefs offense led by Andy Reid, and Andy Reid offense is going to be amazing. Andy Reid always has an RB1 on his team, so I like Damian's value here. So after we went with Damian, his teammate Travis Kelsey came out the board, followed by Adam Thielen, Aaron Jones, Keenan Allen, Leonard Fournette, Devontae Freeman, Pat Mahomes, George Kittle, Me Timbers, Stephen Diggs, Kerryon Johnson, David Montgomery, Chris Carson, Mr. Ertz, Josh Jacobs, Mac Ingram, Julian Edelman, Amari Cooper, and Brandon Cook. So it seems as though we have made the correct decision because a running back that was going right here, a guy like Melvin Gordon, Sony Michelle, Derrick Henry, I'm not too high on. So right here, we can easily snag our second wideout. I would have preferred if Ertz or Kittle fell to us, but typically they go around the third or fourth round, so that is pretty normal. So right here, we are just looking down the barrel at a very hard decision here between Godwin and Woods. Personally, I really do like Godwin a lot, and I don't know if I would even pick him above Woods, but at this very moment, we already have Mike Evans, so I would rather go against having two wideouts from the exact same team on my roster, especially Tampa Bay that doesn't have that great of an offense. Like I said, though, they will be playing from behind, so that is advantageous for them. But who knows if you want them every single week? You want both of them in your lineup. So I'd much rather just go with Robert Woods, wide receiver, LA Rams. Now there is a debate. Oh, who's going to be better, Woods or Cooks? Cooks went one slot in front of him. Who really knows? Personally, I think they'll probably finish near each other. I think both of them could be top 12 options. Last year, Cooks, Cup, and Woods were all 10, or I think 11, 12, and 13 in PPR, so they were all great. So I like Woods here. I personally think that Sean McVay is going to be more willing to throw the ball a lot more this year due to the fact that Todd Gurley is dealing with that knee arthritis. So now we're going to snag a running back here. Now reports are Melvin Gordon's coming back week one. Oh boy. And then there's other reports he's come back week 8 or week 10. Who the fuck knows? So we're just gonna avoid Melvin Gordon. Sony Michel also dealing with is an injury riddled player. Now he is probably going to work in the passing game, which is good for him. But I'd rather just avoid all of these guys if I'm being completely honest. Typically, I go with the three running backs early approach, but I don't really see any of these guys here that I necessarily love. I don't love Henry. I don't really love Marlon Mack anymore due to the fact that he's in Indy. I feel like he may be the safest option here, but I'd much rather just pivot and just go with yet another wide receiver. Now, if we didn't already have Evans, or if we didn't already have Evans, I would likely go Godwin here, but I think Tyler Lockett also is an honorable guy who could potentially finish top 12 at the wide receiver position. Top 15 guy, in my opinion, a solid wide receiver, too, because I think that the volume there is just going to be so high for Mr. Tyler Lockett. He preys on defenses. Saturday night, blah 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 blah. I'm pretty sure he did great in the preseason game. He could be a guy who gets over 1,000 yards. He scored 10 touchdowns this year. Will he do that or last year? Will he do that again this year? That is the question. I wouldn't necessarily bank on it. I do think he'll get over 1,000 yards, maybe 7, 8, or 9 touchdowns. But either way, I still love Lockett here, even though the offense is so run heavy. He is by far the number one target on the team, especially with DK Metcalf dealing with that injury. So after we went with Lockett, Sony Michel came out the board, followed by Chris Godwin, Kenny Galladay, Melvin Gordon, Marlon Mack, Derrick Henry, James White, Cooper Kupp, O.J. Howard, Tyler Boyd, T.Y. Hilton, Evan Ingram, Deshaun Watson, Tevin Coleman, Mike Williams, Philip Lindsay, Aaron Rodgers, A.J. Green. So now it is time to snag another RB here, or maybe go with a double RB approach here. A lot of the good quarterbacks are already gone. Obviously, Luck no longer on our board. He's for some reason still being drafted by people. He is retired, so you will not be drafting him. So we'll just go with a running back here and potentially go quarterback. Even though in a 10-team league, I feel like you can find quarterback value a lot later. So the first running back we're going to go with here is Mr. Miles Sanders, running back Philadelphia. Now, Miles Sanders is a guy that may have to ride the pine for our team a couple of weeks until we truly get to see how much usage he will get. I believe he'll be the RB1 on the team, so I like his value here. And then we're going to back that up with Duke Johnson, who now has humongous big potential here at the running back position of Houston. Now with Lamar Miller dealing with that ACL tear out for the season, and Duke Johnson will be the guy on that team. Now they do have other backs on the team, no one to really name because they're not that important. It's going to be the Duke Johnson show pretty much. He's going to catch some balls, and I like Duke Johnson here as long as he can stay healthy. So after Mr. Duke, Jared Goff came out the board, which is very much a reach. The computer just went full crazy mode on us, went absolute sicko mode. So after Goff, Jarvis Landry came out the board, followed by Ridley, Hunter Henry, Flash Gordon, Savior of the Universe, DJ Moore, D.D. Westbrook, Baker Mayfield, Matt Ryan, Alshon Jeffrey, Austin Eckler, Latavius Murray, Tariq Cohen, Big Vance McDonald, Carson Wentz, absolute bust. Allen Robinson, Darius Geis, Lamar Miller. Don't draft Lamar Miller. His ACL is very torn. So at the tight end position, there's still some solid tight ends here, but I don't think they'll make it back to me. So I'll just go with the best option here, which is Jared Cook, a tight end that, in my opinion, could easily finish as a top 6 guy as long as Breeze targets him like he targeted Jimmy Graham. Now, a lot of people tell me, oh, Nick, he doesn't target the tight end anymore. Oh, boy, I'm Mickey Mouse. You know what I'm saying? That was a terrible Mickey Mouse impression yet again, but, got to do it for the people who watch the videos. But Jared Cook is just way better than any of those other guys that were on the roster of the New Orleans Saints the past couple of years. Better than Ben Watson, better than all of those motherfuckers. So Jared Cook will be solid this year, in my opinion. So I'll happily go with him, and then I'll pair him and snag probably another running back or go wide out depending on the value here. Now I love the value here on Mr. Kenyon Drake going all the way this late in the draft. I have to cough 1 second. Sorry, guys, I have a problem with coughing. I've been sick. I've been dying, on the inside, on the outside, you know what I'm saying? Life's been pretty bad, but, it's okay, guys, because we're going to just draft. We would go Kenyon Drake here because, like I said, his value is very good here late in the draft because he's going to be a guy whose ADP has fallen because of that injury, but he's coming back. He's all Gucci. He's return to practice. He looks good in return to practice, so I'm confident with him. But we do have to pull the trigger on our handcuff because Darwin Thompson is not going to make it back to us. I am very afraid of that, and I need to make sure that I have my handcuff. So if Damian Williams ends up getting hurt, ends up botching it, certifiably botching it, and we need Darwin Thompson to come up, to play for us. So after with Darwin Thompson, Robey, Anderson came at the board, followed by Kenyon Drake, Drew Brees, Will Fuller, Andrew Luck. Don't draft Andrew Luck, sorry guys. Christian Kirk, Curtis Samuel, Darius. I can't read today, guys. Darrell Henderson, Rashad Penny, Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt got surgery on his hernia, I believe, I don't even know what that surgery is, but for your like crotch area, you know what I'm saying, guys. So Kareem Hunt, Emmanuel Sanders, Sterling Shepard, Geronimo Allison, Matt Breida, Kalen Balaj, Larry Fitz, Njoku, Bears defense. Pretty late for the Bears defense in comparison to where you normally see them going, like the 8th round. Don't draft the Bears defense until the last round, please. Okay. So now we are going to, let's see how many quarterbacks. I'm taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 10 teams have a quarterback. So we're going to happily hop on the wide receiver train here and snag a wide receiver that I see with huge value here still in the draft. Now, I don't necessarily think that this guy could be very boom bust for your team, and that is Sammy Watkins. A lot of people are worried about, oh, Sammy Watkins got hurt in the past. Oh, Sammy Watkins has burned me years ago. Well, it's not years ago. It's today. He is on one of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL. Pat Mahomes this year likely going to throw, probably in my opinion, like 40 touchdowns this year, and I think, or 40, 45 touchdowns. I doubt he's going to hit 50, but I still love the touchdown upside for Sammy Watkins. And Sammy Watkins was a guy that got 100 yards in two of their playoff games, and I think that they're going to be using Sammy Watkins pretty well this year as the wide receiver 2 on Kansas City. So that's one with Sammy Watkins. Now it is time to either go quarterback or just completely wait and snag one more wideout. Now we do have one bench spot left, so I'll happily just get a wideout. Now I think that the thing is fucked up yet again, so we are indeed going to, because we needed a spot for our quarterback and our kicker and defense, and it gave us an extra round because the fucking sleeper app has been going wild for me recently, but that's fine. This would be our last pick, and we would go MVS for the upside of being the number 2 option on Green Bay. I like him and Allison. So after we went with MVS, Russell Wilson came at the board, followed by LaShawn McCoy, Tony Pollard, Lamar Jackson, Famous Jameis, Jordan Howard, Rolls-Royce Freeman, Marvin Jones, Corey Davis, Austin Hooper, Cam Newton, James Washington, Dante Pettis, Eric Ebron, Justin Jackson, Kyler Murray, Devin Singletary, Peyton Barber, and now it's time to snag our quarterback. So we would go with the guy here that I think has the safest is the safest option here, and that is probably Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's finished as a top 12 quarterback every year he's been in the NFL. He's ran for 6 touchdowns each of those years, and I think that he is going to get severely hurt if Zeke does not play week 1, in my opinion, for the first couple of weeks. I would just drop him and pick up Josh Allen if that was to happen, but if I was drafting right now, I think I would still side the way of Mr. Dak Prescott. So, following Dak, we're going to pick up his defense, because the best way to pick a defense is to go on Google and type in NFL schedule week 1 and find a defense that is playing against a shitty offense week 1. Now, yesterday, or you can watch my video from yesterday where I talk about 3 defenses that I target, and the Cowboys are the number 1 of those because of their week 1 against the Giants, then the Redskins, and then the Dolphins. So after you go with the Cowboys, Jalen Samuel came at the board, followed by the Jags, LA Rams, Golden Tate, Moncrief, Jackson, Big Ben, Cortland Sutton, AP, Ravens, Browns, Greg the Leg Zerline, Houston Texans, Chargers, Tucker, John Brown, Harrison Bucker, Will Lutz. So this should be our last pick, but the thing's messed up, so we go with Kai Fairbairn. And then I'm just going to tell you guys about a running back that I like late here. And that would most likely be, my pick right here would probably be Mr. Alexander Mattison. He is in my opinion, one of the better handcuffs in the league. You're handcuffing Dalvin Cook. We don't have Dalvin Cook, but Alexander Madison could end up finishing pretty high when the year comes to an end if Dalvin Cook gets hurt, or if he's used more than we think he will get used. So after with Alexander Madison, Anthony Miller came at the board, followed by Rivers, Delaney Walker, Vikings, Gostowski, Gould, Broncos, Badgley, and Mason Crosby. So our finishing lineup at quarterback, we got Mr. Dickey, Dak Prescott. Our 2 RBs are Saquon and Damian Williams. Our wideouts are Mike Evans and Robert Woods. Our tight end is Jared Cook. Our flex is Tyler Lockett. Our kicker is Kaimi Fairbairn. Our defense is the Cowboys, and our bench is comprised of Miles Sanders, Duke Johnson, Darwin Thompson to cuff Mr. Damian Williams, and then Sammy Watkins and MVS. And then we picked up Alexander Madison in the round that doesn't show. So thank you guys all for watching. I love each and every one of you guys. I hope you guys have a great day. I told you guys that we are going to be trying to hit 1,000 subs, so hopefully we have hit that by the time you're watching this video. I love y'all. Goodbye.